So basically, we're starting this off, and this is going to be a mapping series. And this will be on private land. We might do a public land one. And this applies to almost everywhere across the U.S., but mainly and specifically in the southeast, the east, up a little bit north from here, anywhere from Tennessee down here to North Florida, and even South Florida in some places, in Louisiana, Mississippi, anywhere around here, and you'll find this type of terrain uh, pretty close around here, and you'll find it's present in a lot of these places down here down south. But this is just the lack of information on YouTube right now of killing these deer and finding out where they hide. It's just not it's not good. So for me personally, I have information about it and I'm spreading it with you guys. But hopefully y'all enjoy this. So basically on this video, I've picked out a chunk on Onyx, and we'll be doing this here in a second. I've picked out a chunk on Onyx. It's hardwoods, a creek bottom. So I guess this would be a creek bottom segment, but it's creek bottoms backed up to a ridge, hardwood ridge, and on both sides, and we got pines around it. Basically, most around it is just pines and timber and just stuff that South uses down here for timber, for wood. And we got planted pines, natural pines. Now on this piece in particular, we got, this is private land, so we actually got natural pines mixed in, and the deer love that. They love these. I mean, these pines, you're talking that big around. You can't get tree stands around them. They're so big. But we got big underbrush on them, just flooded with deer. And so basically this piece is, so you got big hardwood creek bottom going through the middle. Below it, you got timber, or way below it, you got timber. And then right there in between, you got hardwoods, and that's where your acorns are going to be. And hopefully, now this is from the map's point of view, hopefully we got acorns, and you can see transition lines, and then we got food over here, and you'll just have to see it for yourself on the map. And so we'll pull that up right now, and we'll see how y'all like it. All right, y'all.
All right, here we go. We got the aerial point of view of the deer woods pulled up here. And basically, to start off, we got on XHunt. And if you want to really get serious and really up your game with killing these big bucks, big mature bucks, you're going to want to download this app. Go get it on the App Store. Go get it. And you can get premium and get a lot of good features like I have here. Or you can just go with the normal one that has a lot of great features also. But here we go. We're going to start off here, and again, onxhunt.com. I mean, it's an amazing app. I mean, you can look at things you just can't really get with boots on the ground. But you can get good stuff with boots on the ground. But to save work and save feet time, save a lot of steps and miles, you want to download this app, and you can pinpoint right where you want to go scout. But for now, we're going to kick this thing off. So first of all, I got 7 tips here and to hunt this in particular type of terrain in this in particular block. And so here we got the boundaries right here, this creek. So if you can see this creek that runs all the way up through here from the west to east. So the boundaries we're looking is to the south of this creek and this block right here. It's about a 60-acre parcel, and this is pretty average to what you're going to see around here. But you can kill a lot of big bucks off of these little places like this. But so to get started, my number 1 tip for this in particular terrain is going to be the habitat. Look at your habitat. Figure out what you're dealing with. So here we'll start from the north to the south. We got creek bottom to the north. And we go south a little bit, but not too much, right through the middle of here and on through to the east and a little bit to the west. We got hardwoods. So right here we got hardwoods, acorns, oaks, and all types of trees like this. Hickories, good stands to hang trees on. And then we go to the south here. We got pines. These look pretty thick, so they might not get much sunlight to the ground. Those deer will walk straight through them, but they're not going to be in them that much. But if they are with boots on the ground, we'll confirm this. And if they are and they allow sunlight to get to the ground and there's thick undergrowth, I found does love to bed in this stuff. But anyway, so we got a pond down here. So the transitions are endless. You got a transition here, pond, transition here, hardwoods or creek bottoms to hardwoods, and just endless pines, hardwoods. So we got endless different types of habitat, which is awesome for holding a bunch of deer and a good quality of them. So, and we got a food plot right here also. That's going to help. Food plot down here, which we're not going to look at on this side of the property yet. We're just looking at this parcel, but that will come in handy when figuring out the deer travel routes. So here we go to get started. That's habitat. So once we got this figured out, we got endless amounts of habitat, and we're dealing with grown timber almost everywhere, whether it's hardwoods and everything else. So, but the second tip is one of my favorites is possible bedding. I love to look for bedding, and this time of year is perfect to do it right here midsummer, and because you can figure out where the deer are going and what time of year and whatnot. We'll get to that in later tips. But possible bedding here, possible mature buck bedding is what I should say. And so if we zoom down here to the west a little bit, we can actually see these peninsulas. And if you can see them, peninsulas into swamps, creek bottoms, or anything like this holding water or escape routes is a honey hole for buck bedding. A honey hole, let me tell you. So here we go to get started. We can map out and see from this map we got a peninsula here to the north and a peninsula here to the west. And so how these bucks are going to bed there is going to be with the wind. So possible bedding here is going to happen at this one with a southeast to south wind. And because these big bucks, they're going to enter their beds from here. A lot of times on the edges of these peninsulas, they'll do that. And from down here from the south or to the east, coming from this food plot also. And what they're going to do is they're just going to find a big log, a big stump, or anything they can rest their back on, make a J hook into there, wrap around on the outside of that peninsula, and they're going to look out into this creek bottom because remember it's open and they can see a long ways in here and got all this covered. And they, like I said, they'll enter it only and most likely on a south to southeast wind. The reason they do this, so picture this in your head. You got this big old buck. He's sitting there. So he's got the wind to his back, looking out into that creek bottom, and it's a bulletproof setup. So see, he's got the wind like this. Predators coming in on his back trail, he'll smell that scent from them before he ever sees them, and the predator has a chance to get him. So what he's going to do, he's going to run out into this creek bottom and go maybe take a swim, but that's going to save him, and that'll catch his scent. The water will catch his scent, and he'll be undetectable. And so that's his escape route up into here. And so that's how that in particular peninsula sets up. So remember, it'll come in handy for a couple minutes through this video. South to southeast wind is perfect for this. So next, we got this west-facing peninsula. And it's a little different through here. It's a little farther back from everything. I find particular when the wind sets up, the bucks like to get as far back as they can, and they'll even stay close sometimes. But we're looking at here, I'll say October, and during what a lot of people call the lull. It's actually when the acorns are just starting to drop, so they get off the food plots. It's not really a lull. You're not hunting in the right place. So what we got here is the west facing. So here, we're going to want to have a northeast to southeast wind. So wind like this, northeast, southeast, and anywhere in between. Throat's getting dry, sorry. But how this bed sets up, same principle. Either he crosses this ditch, comes in, J hooks, sit down, look out into there, or he comes through here. J hook, sits down, and looks out into this open creek bottom. Same thing, open, open. Wind coming at his back. Anything that tries to come through here, he'll smell it. Anything that tries to come through here, he'll smell it. Anything that comes from here, he'll see it. Anything from here, he'll see it. Here, he'll see it. Bulletproof setup for that big buck. And that is two different bedding areas for these big bucks that they're going to hide at, mature bucks. Now remember here, guys, when we're talking about these bedding areas, we're talking about big bucks. We're not talking about the does that might bed right off this food plot right in here, come take a bite in plain daylight. No, we're talking about mature bucks here. So now, a mature buck, he's going to bed in a very specific area that sets up perfect for his nose and his eyes. And there'll be does and young bucks bedding in a mature buck area, but you're not going to see much of mature bucks bedding in a doe area. And if that makes any sense for you, what I'm saying is they bed in very specific areas. And so in here, like these peninsulas, that you got to look at these areas setting up perfect for them. And if it sets up perfect and it's hard to hunt, a lot of times those ones that are hard to hunt that you have to hunt on just an off wind, those are the ones that are holding bucks at that time of year, and those are the ones you want to get in there and hunt. So again, and when I'm talking about those J hooks, I know you might have a question on that. What I'm saying is a lot of times they'll walk the edges of it. If you can, I'll actually turn the topo on or the hybrid on where you can see this. And so what I'm saying is there's kick this off right here, and there's slopes. So kind of imagine it as a pipe. There's water, and a pipe sticking out, and they'll walk on the edge of that, and they'll J hook the end of it and lay down and start facing. So they're not going to walk on the very top of that. They will sometimes, but a lot of times they'll walk on the edges of them. You know how they curve? So they make a J hook on about halfway on that curve. They'll wrap around, come sit down and bed. So that's what I mean by the J hooks. But off to the third point of this mapping section series. Here we go, possible food sources for the time of year you're hunting. Now, for like I said, for this, we're talking about mid-October, early October, anywhere around there. So right now, it's going to be acorns for them. Now, sets up perfect for them, again, because of these hardwoods. Now, this is when the creek bottoms might play the biggest role. So a lot of times down here in the south, you'll have swamp white oaks in here and young water oaks, and they drop right in this October time, and that sets up perfect for them because a lot of times they drop on the very edges of these, and so all it takes for him is to walk 20 yards, grab a bite to eat, walk down, bed down, and a lot of times he don't have to do but stand up, and there's acorns raining on his head. And so this time of year, like I said, we got acorns dropping, so we're going to definitely want to stay within this circle that I'm drawing here. Or not drawing, but circling for y'all, because there should be acorns from the looks of this aerial view. There should be acorns in this bottom, and we'll confirm this with boots on the ground scouting, but for right now, when we get there, we'll look for that, but we're definitely going to play this as a key role and a key area to get in here and hunt. So fourth of all, how to access this. How to access this is a key role. So in this particular terrain and piece of property, you see this creek up here? That is one of my favorite ways and most fun ways to access it. It's with a canoe or kayak. You get in here with a south wind or an east wind, like I said, with these bedding areas, and south here, southeast there, northeast to southeast here. And so say you're hunting, first one we're going to pick out that North Peninsula, say you're hunting there. And so remember everything I'm talking about here. And so with the food sources also, how to access, we come in there with a kayak, wrap around here, come park right here, or so we're talking about right here, park anywhere along this stretch, and then you're going to walk the rest of the way. And after this, we're going to figure out how to hunt it. So also we can do the same thing here. And then my fifth is how to hunt it. So we figured out the access on this creek. So how to hunt it. So here we go. Remember, like I said, there's only going to be mature bucks. Now there might be does sitting here bedding on a north wind, but they rely on their eyes to watch each other. So a big mature buck only worries about himself. That's what he's going to do. So if you're wanting to hunt this North Peninsula, or you have intel that there's a big buck on this one and not this one, or vice versa, we'll get in here on a southeast wind, And what we do, we'll access it from that creek, walk down here, and with confirmation, boots on the ground scouting, we'll find acorns either in here, this block of timber, or in on the edges, like I said, on the edges of his territory. So right here, so if there's swamp white oaks or any other type of acorn on the edges, we're going to want to set up here or set up right here. Say it's a southeast wind, we could set up right here or on this side. Say there's a big mass producing swamp white oak right here, so that's 20-30 yards from his bed. We're going to want to get right up in here, access it from the creek, walk, set up about 2 to 3 hours before daylight. And I say 2 to 3 hours, it's early, it's waking up. You're probably going to need coffee or an energy drink or something, but trust me, it'll pay off when that big buck rolls in. Now, you might hear him walk into your bed or something, or walk into his bed, but it might be a while before he stands up and grabs acorns. But I promise you, if there's acorns raining down there, sometime in the morning, midday or anything, he's going to stand up and he's going to come grab and bite the acorns. And this is when you got to stay real still because he can almost see you. And you're going to have to stay real still and just, this is when a saddle comes really good where you can hide behind the tree, or some types of climbers when you're facing the tree. And you're going to have to stay still and just relax and get it done. And if there's acorns, say, dropping on this side, hunt it with a southeast or south access. Come in here and mass producing, or mass producing acorn tree or oak tree or any type of fruit tree. And he's going to walk out, grabbing a bite to eat. That's when you're sitting there waiting. Now, again, I don't know if he's going to come out right at daylight. I don't know if he's going to come out at 10 or 12 o'clock in the day. But you wait and he will come out. He's going to come out. I mean, there's no doubt. Especially if there's dropping acorns like they should be. I mean, he's going to come out. And then now, say, for a different setup. Or actually, say down here. Say there's swamp white oaks dropping right here, right there, and right there. So what you're going to do, get in there with an east wind. Come down here. You might actually want to come farther with the kayak or canoe. Walk in like this. Set up about 20, 30, 40 yards. For me, I can even stay 40 or 50 with the setup I'm shooting. I feel comfortable, so I like to stay out. And I like to stay closer. Sometimes it just depends on the setup. With these open hardwoods, it's actually easy to shoot a far ways in here. And so, again, when he steps out of his bed to come eat those acorns, you'll be waiting there about 30, 40 yards away. That's when you take that shot. Hopefully you smoke him. But now, I can try to help you put you in front of the deer, but I can't help you shoot them. So that'll be on another video. So hopefully you get that job done of smoke them. Now, for another segment, say there's the swamp whites aren't having a good year, but the water oaks are, or the red oaks or whatever, that are going to be up in here. So for this setup, east wind, you're going to want to come in here with the kayak 2 or 3 hours before daylight, park about right here, walk, set up, and set up on the edge of these where you can shoot in here and just wait and wait and wait 2 to 3 hours before daylight and be able to shoot up in here because that's where the oak trees are dropping. Like again I said, and you might want to get a little bit closer and with an east wind blowing right off, or even like a southeast, because he's going to still feel safe and be able to blow it a little up some out into here. And that sets up perfect because he's going to walk out of his bed, come grab a bite to eat the acorns, which is about 50-yard walk, not even. And you might want to get a little bit closer to make it easier for him. The closer you get without spooking him, that's the more of a chance you're going to have to kill that big buck. And so you're going to set up right in here somewhere with a southeast wind, east wind, and he's going to get up anytime in the morning and you can shoot him. You can shoot him when he walks in. And again here, say those acorns are dropping. Do not, please do not hunt this on an opposite wind. Do not hunt this on a north wind or a west wind, because these deer, you'll hate me for it. And I'm telling you this because it's really crucial to killing them. They won't be in there. There's no reason for them to bet on a north wind. They have no security because they can't look up back in here. It's too thick. And they have no security or anything. Same with here. They're not going to bed there on a north or west wind. So you get there on only hunt these on the right winds. South, southeast here, east or northeast to southeast here. And they'll be in there. Can't promise you a mature buck, does, yearlings, or whatever. but something's going to be in there. So say again, oaks are dropping right here, or even right in here along this stretch. Set up with a south wind, come in here, get about right there, access, walk through here, set up your stand in the morning time, real early. Wait for them to come back and flood in and eat into these acorns, or wait later in the day for him to walk up, stand up, come and eat these acorns, go back, and shoot him while he's on his way. So that's what you do there. And number 7. So this is all. Now, I skipped one because I basically showed it to you without naming it. So then that was what wind, and I showed you what wind and all. So number 6 and 7 basically tie back how to hunt it. Number 6 would be what wind, and number 7 would be what time of year. So the last thing I'm looking for is, or it can even be, should be your first thing, because you don't want to, you definitely want to know this before you get out there and scout it. And because you can easily call off an area by doing this, is what time of year. So in here, this time of year, if we, it also often helps to get like this time of year. It's going to be a neutral, so it'll probably be good year round except in the summer when they're out in these ag fields in the summer. But other than that, in the wintertime, when they're feeding on these food plots, a lot of times that's all they got is these food plots, and then you got this clear cut. So that'll be good even into the wintertime and when the oaks are dropping, especially all throughout here and into these creek bottoms and stuff. So we're looking at a really good setup. As soon as October hits, they'll be in here until February, January, February, and because your food sources change. So during October, remember, they're going to be in here on the acorns. That's how you hunt those big bucks. Now, we'll do another video for a later sit, but they'll be also in here November, December, January. Now, here we got the option to hunt later. Our season ends in February, so but all the way up till February because we got this food, bedding, travel to food, bedding, travel to food, bedding, travel to doe bedding, and so we got plenty of options here. Now, if y'all keep watching my channel, that'll be on another video. But so here, hope that helped y'all guys. So remember, hunting these bedding areas, hunting really close to them, get inside 100 yards. Remember, 200 yards is a long way for a bedded deer, a bedded mature buck. And y'all get in here, slip in there easy, and get aggressive. Don't be afraid to get aggressive with these deer, because that's what it's going to take to kill you a big mature southern buck, swamp buck, some would say. But hope y'all enjoyed that video. That's the first of the mapping series. We got a hardwoods hunt here. Perfect hardwoods hunt, October hunt. Acorns are dropping. Get in there in the morning. And I know y'all didn't hear me mention an afternoon set in here, mainly because an afternoon set would be really hard, because this buck, to access it from here, he would see you before he ever got there. And so that's why I mentioned a morning hunt. I mean, yes, I mentioned a morning hunt and not an afternoon. Afternoon will be on another video in another situation. And here you'd probably not want to go on the afternoon. But again, I hope y'all like that, the aerial view of this map. Keep subscribing for some more tips, and we will have some more tips on swamp bucks, pine bucks, young pines, clear cuts, old pines, hardwoods, straight creek bottoms, etc. Etc. I don't know what I'm getting at here, etc. There we go. And so, again, hope y'all like that video. And let me know if there's anything I missed out on here. If you got some questions for me, just let me know. Alright, y'all. Like and subscribe. Catch y'all on another video. Alright. So, I know y'all thought I was done with this video, but I basically did a closing out for y'all. But we are actually, so for some of y'all, I know you're going to have some questions about how I did everything, and some of you are visuals like me, so you need to see exactly, you might need a copy or whatever to see how I did this individual setup. So with the help of Onyx's tools right here, we got tools, we got lines, waypoints, area shapes, pictures to mark on the waypoints, and so many others, map layers, and all this wonderful stuff on here. So what we got here is I'm basically going to do a layout of everything, and I'm going to mark everything: access, bedding, stands, possible stand locations. I'm doing 3 for each peninsula. or 3 for each bedding area, if you will. So let's get started. Alrighty, y'all. Here we go. We are done mapping all the waypoints and everything. So to start off, we got their map key, if you will. Of course, you can probably put this together. This blue line, that's the creek, or the access line, as I would call it. Sorry, I got to clear my throat there. But that's the access. Of course, I marked it with a waypoint for access, and then these red lines through here are boots on the ground access. That's how I park the kayak right here, walk the rest of the way. And if you put that together in these X's, these are possible stand locations. Now we will confirm this when we go in there, modify the exact location a little bit, but that's what these X's are. And of course we got the red lines, boots on access, walking right to the X's, right where those stands were. They might change depending on where we end up actually finding a tree to hang a running gun set up in. But of course we got the lines right here, and the tools, lines. Then we got area shapes we use for this food plot, and of course we got the waypoints. And then now for the waypoints, we got the bedding area right here. And so that bedding area and this one, that's the two we're focusing on today, is peninsulas. And so that's just marking the bedding area, but these white lines you see is different routes that they'll take out. And you might ask me, you're like, hey, why is there 2 or 3 different ones, and how do I hunt them? Because I don't want to like creep up, be 20 yards from their bed and just shoot them in the bed. So that's what we will confirm with scouting with oak trees and the food sources. So say there's a big mass producing tree down here to the south on this bedding area. Say there's one right here, so you can access it from the creek, come in here, slip in, set up, and that's what you're going to hunt. If there's one, if it's dropping right here to this higher ground, if it's a wet year and the deer just can't get the acorns in here, then this might be flooded. But you can, so you won't be able to utilize this. So actually hunting over that water but shooting to these acorns is perfect. And because that water's not that deep, you can get in there with waders and set up all your climbing stuff and whatnot, and shoot those acorns that are up higher, because it's so wet they're not dropping that year, or if they are dropping, it's just dropping into water, and so that's not doing you no good. Same thing here. If there's a mass producing tree right here, slip in, get in the stand, perch up right there, shoot them when it comes to it. Same thing, mass producing tree right here, slip in, shoot the stand, or shoot at the tree, at whatever tree he's coming to. And then if they're right here for this bedding area also, you slip in and go right to your tree, just straight shot, set up real early, and catch him when he stands out of his bed. Because you got to remember, this is only about 60 yards, 60, 80 yards, which is a perfect length. I figure like 50 to 100 yards from a big mature buck's bed is perfect. That's a perfect setup, and a lot of times you don't want to get too close, and I found during the pre-rut and whatnot, you can get a little bit farther away from them. But during this October lull type standpoint, we're here, and they might only stand up and walk 50 yards, if that, if not just 20, and get up and go to their acorns. But again, so we'll start from the north to south. This stand, if there's mass producing trees right here, morning stand, come in real early, catch him when he's coming back from whatever night food source he's feeding at, maybe this clear cut. Then he'll come back in, come bed down, you might hear him. But then later in the day, when he stands up for that second meal, he's going to walk out, come to his acorns, and that's when you shoot him. For this one, say there's water oaks and red oaks dropping, and maybe even some normal white oaks. The swamp whites won't be up in here. It's at least what I found. They might be, but I doubt it. And so you got good mass producing trees in here, a lot of buck sign, a lot of rubs, a lot of buck turds, and you come in here, and what you do is you gonna preach up, same thing you get, perch up in that tree 2 or 3 hours before daylight. You might hear him walk in. When he stands up, you can shoot him on this trail, or you can wait till he comes and feeds under the tree for some good footage. And there you go. And now coming over here to the west, if there's same thing on the other side of this peninsula, if there's a mass producing tree, slip in, perch up, get up there, wait for him to stand up out of his bed. And personally, I like the idea of this better, of these two stands, if there's trees dropping right here, because it's just so close. It's so much more convenient for him, and he feels safe to stand up and get up and go eat. So now down here, catching them walking from here to those acorns I'm talking about. And there might be acorns in here. You could still shoot them. And again, access it from the creek, kayak, park your kayak or canoe. You might even park it closer, if depending on how wet it is. And walk the rest of the way. Get your running gun set up. And put your stand right here. Shoot that trail while he's coming out. Or if he's coming back in to his bed and it's daylight. So what you do, he's coming in, he's walking this trail, boom, shoot him. Or if he's coming out, walking this trail to get to the acorns, boom, shoot him. And for down here, you got red lines, that stands for boots on the ground. Say there's white oak acorns in here, swamp white's dropping, swamp chestnut. And you come up here, perch up, get up in this tree, and shoot it. And I can't stress to you, stay in the stand. If you got a good feeling, good wind, and that wind's the same east wind, and it's looking like a good day, and the acorns are dropping, stay in there. It might be an all-day sit, but would you rather come out, and would you rather come out with a freezer fill and a tag punched, or not? And that is totally up to you. But stay in there, just be patient, and they're going to come out. It might be a doe and a yearling, or just a yearling, but they will come out. But a mature buck is likely to be bedding here on the right wind. And that's when having a comfortable saddle, I encourage you guys, I got a tethered saddle coming on the way, and I encourage you guys to get it, to try saddle hunting. Or, I mean, if you, depending on all types of trees and whatnot, a lock-on might be better, a climber might be better. It's up to y'all. But a running gun setup, especially a saddle, in my point of view, is a very good stand. But alrighty, y'all can make a copy of this or whatever you need to do to just base off of your hunts this season. This is a really good scenario, sets up really well for big bucks. So if y'all want to keep watching, keep finding different habitats, and keep getting mature buck bedding ideas, and I say mature buck bedding, everything bases off mature buck bedding that I do here. So, and we can even make a lot of more videos, whether it's young pines, mature pines, or swamps or whatnot. We'll have an endless ideas by this season. Alright, y'all, keep watching, like and subscribe. I know that's my second ending. I ended it off earlier in the video, but we actually didn't stop. So here's y'all's map key and whatnot. So y'all just stay tuned and we'll get it done. Alright, y'all, like and subscribe again, comment, email me with any questions or anything. Good luck this season, y'all.